What up, guys? I haven't been putting up any content lately, so I apologize. It's not because I don't have it. A lot of books are coming in, okay? And as a matter of fact, today you're going to see a few books go into my Keeper project in different tiers. And, but I just, unlike other channels, I don't, my life is not my channel. My job is not my channel. You got like, guys like, I don't know, economics and comics, let's say, right? His channel is his business. So, and you know what? And he treats it like it too. And he's one of the best at it. And the channel is one of the best channels on YouTube. Obviously, Comic Tom has his own, I think he's got his own comic book store, right? And the channel is one of the reasons why his store is successful, I would think. And he's got the best comic book channel on the planet. Really, I can't think of anybody else that has better. ETA Nick, I think ETA is retired. I don't think he works, but he does different things on his channels, and he is one of the best at it as well. And they have great productions. What do I have? I don't even have freaking lighting. I'll tell you something. Kurt just put up his first video on comics, and I'm gonna put a link down here. It was so freaking entertaining, man. Kurt's production is 1,000 times better than this production right here. Okay, so but I had so much fun watching it, and he's got so many great books, man. I wish that they all come back 9.8 for you, my friend. I wish they do. All right, but I'll put a link, and please check it out at the bottom of the video. Great Expectations Comics, man. I want you guys to check out, especially the one book that he showed for Ultimate Spider-Man. And that was phenomenal. But some of the other stuff that he puts out, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Secret Jedi is always entertaining. And of course, Mark Spector, he's one of the most respected guys. I mean, in this YouTube, family, if you want to call it, and very knowledgeable. But me, listen, I try to do what I can, but it is what it is, man. I can only put up so much in a particular week or whatever. All right, look. So we'll start with this today. Something's Killing the Children, #1. I mentioned this before because I saw it in Keeping It Thorough. He's the first one that I saw that talked about this. All right, I got this from my comic shop. I was able to get one book from them, but supposedly when you get one of the foils that they have, and they have two foils, it's the cover A and the cover B foil, right? The grandpa, and this is the Brooks. Inside there you would have gotten this, and it says you got to buy the foil and the #2. When you receive the #2 on April 14th, you will receive a Something's Killing the Children #1, which I don't know if it's going to be this particular book right there. Now, if you look at it, this looks like the trade paperback that they had, so I'm assuming that the cover is going to be different. This would be the 8th print of Something's Killing the Children #1. More than likely, they'll have a different cover on it. I think they're going to have a cover of Something's Killing the Children #1 with a Berserker style theme. Okay, but my comic shop told me that they were told to destroy these because the second issue is not going to come out till later. It won't be April 14th. So they're already delaying the second issue again, so who knows what they're going to do, because it looks like they're going to be changing the rules again. This is something that Boom keeps doing, man. But I do believe that you're gonna have to purchase that foil, because I mean, how can you go against this right here, right? And they're gonna have to communicate a lot better with the comic book stores about what they're gonna do, because most of them didn't even know what the hell they were doing, you know. And if you go out and you buy, like, say 15 of these, according to my comic shop, he was saying that he can probably just maybe guarantee one. He won't guarantee 15, because he doesn't think he'll be getting the same number of Something's Killing the Children #1 as what's in this this thing, like 1 for 1. That's one thing. But look, my suggestion is, if you see this, especially for cover price, get it, the foil, because once the official, and this should have been official, it's on print, but I'm sure they're going to change it. But once it comes right out, comes out again, I'm pretty sure that the foil is going to be one book that they're going to require that you have. I'm pretty sure. And of course, I wasn't going to be specking on Berserker anymore. I said I was going to get every issue of Berserker, but only for reading, because I did like the story. It's not much of a story, though. It's mostly action, man. But he's already got a deal for a movie and probably an animated series, which is crazy. But is it really? It is Keanu Reeves, and everybody knew, or should have known, that all he has to do is pitch it to somebody, and what are they going to say? No, Keanu, you can go home. It's not going to happen, buddy. You know, this was a great spec, but it was ruined because of the delays and the time. And the regular cover A for this will be a coffee coaster, at least for the short term. Okay, many books that I thought would have been coffee coasters. Look at X-Men #1, right? Over 1 million copies printed of that X-Men #1. Now it's going for $400 in a 9.8. Is that crazy or what, man? $400. We're not even talking about the newsstand. It's kind of stupid, I think, man. But hey, I should send mine in, because I have quite a few of those. Should send them in to get graded. I probably when I have to look for them, though. But yeah, another coaster that I thought was going to be a coaster, New Mutants 98. I thought that was going to be a coaster. I never really went after that. I have a 9.4 right now, but never really went after that because of production, really. If you really think about it, Amazing Spider-Man 300, over 500,000 printed on that. But supply, demand, and the fact that those books were just heavily read. I mean, and people used to toss them around, bring them to school, read them in school. Yeah, very hard to get, especially high grades in the 8.5, 8.0 and above. So that's why out of the 500,000, maybe you're seeing right around 30,000 graded right now, maybe a little less than that. I didn't check, but it's going to be right around there. But who knows? Maybe later, Berserker, the first print, maybe that's the only shot I got of not having a dud. But as of right now, this is going to be a huge loss for me. So I'm not really specking on it anymore. I just want it for the read, and this is the only thing that I'll be specking on for that, is Something's Killing the Children #1. All right, so these are some other specs that I bought. All right, let's go with this one first. Cat 60. No, actually, no, this was Exile State. I bought this from him. It's in pretty decent shape. I just have to press it, though. It does have some pressing issues. No color breaking ticks, though, which is great. But it does have, if you see it right there, little bit of a warping, I guess, right? But I think that could be taken out with a press, and Mr. Kendrick can take care of that. I know that because I've seen his work, and I know that he can do it. He is backed up with work right now, though. Last books I sent him haven't come in. I mean, at least he hasn't responded to me yet. All right. Eniac came in. This is the first print. All right, here you go. On eBay, there's another printing. It's a black Eniac here. That's not a second print. A lot of people call that a second print. Never buy that for more than cover price, because they're going to keep reprinting those. It's just not a first print is what they're going to be calling them. So I am hoping that most of you guys join me on this, all right, because this is probably going to be a keeper at you know, for the long run. It's a nice looking cover. I have not read it because I don't want to open it, really. Like, I took it out just to look at it. It's going to be going as a pre-screen 9.8. I will buy the black one to read it, the not first print. I bought these cool stuff collectibles. Kurt was talking about them, so I checked his stuff out. Cool. I had seen that channel before, but yeah, I went to look at more of his stuff after Kurt mentioned them in his video. He is getting these books like this, a cover price, man. I mean, he gets so many books at cover price. I don't know how the hell he does it, but he's doing it, and good for him. Unfortunately for me, I didn't get these at cover, but I did get them at a pretty decent deal on eBay. It was 4 of these, 2 cover A's and 2 cover B's for $60. So it's $15 each with shipping. Actually, it was taxes because it was free shipping. Comes out to $16 each for the 4 of them, and I'll take that. I'll take that any day, because the spec on these is fresh still, and 50,000 print run. Actually, it's 45,000 print run each, because it was 90 to 95,000 complete print run on cover A and cover B, and so you're figuring, yeah, a little bit more than 45,000 on each of these. It's not so bad when you really come to think about it. With Cat 60, this is the one that I got from Cat 60. I got a new Agents of Atlas. I don't know. I'm gonna give this a shot, just because of the FOMO. I don't want to miss out, and I think that I got it at a pretty decent price. I got that one. I got this one. This is number 2. It's signed. If anybody could tell whose signature that is, please let me know, because I really don't know who the hell that is. Looks like Greg Pak, but where was it that I got this? Cat 360. Yeah, 209 Agents of Atlas lot. It came with those, and it came with those. 2 of those. Was it another one? I think there was another one here. Yeah, that one right there too. So, and all of them are, they look near mint to me, so they're gonna be going out to pre-screen 9.8s. Alright, here's one that I got from Great Expectations. Actually, he didn't give me this, but he mentioned something to me that I'm going to show you guys right now. Alright, so he's into the Magic the Gathering also. Obviously, I'm not into Magic the Gathering. I'm into the spec. I did read that one over there, though. I read this one. I made this my reading copy. And yeah, there's planeswalkers here. But I think because this world is so vast, and it could, you know, it's different timelines, I think. I don't know if the characters that are in this one are going to appear in the Boom Studios, or even in whatever animated series that they're planning on doing for them. However, in the Boom Studios book, there's this lady right here, Liliana Vess. This is a preview. This is a preview that came out for Free Comic Book Day. All right. I got these for $1, but this guy put a sticker on it. This was from, I want to say it was 2011 or 2012. Matter of fact, let's look at it real quick, see if we can find it. Looking like 2011, it looks like. Free Comic Book Day. This was a preview of their graphic novel for Path of the Planeswalker 2. But it has a story of Liliana Vess and whoever that other character is right there, Garuk Wildspeaker. But this is the big character right there. So I'm not sure if this is her first appearance, but this is the earliest appearance I could track her to. But this is, I mean, if you can find this, and believe me, you can find these out, especially now that these conventions are starting to open up and you can go to flea markets now, you can find these on dollar bins or less. Because I bought this particular one for $1. It's not in great condition, but this one right here is in great condition, and this one will be going out in pre-screen 9.8. And I actually bought this one for $8 and change. After shipping, it came out to like I think like $12 with shipping. But it's a nice looking book, and it's going to be a nice spec, I think, especially if that turns out to be her first appearance. Alright, let's see what else we got. Alright, so these issues are starting to become hot right now. These are the Marvel Legends comic books that came with the action figures for Marvel Legends. One of them sold for, I think it was close to $1,000 in a 9.8. So that will definitely drive the value of most of these. Now the thing about it is, right around, these actually came out pretty nice. Now I already had a couple of these ungraded, but right around here is where the figure rested on top of the book. That just needs a pressing right there. But it doesn't look like it damaged the spine, so I think a pressing could do it wonders. In the back looks actually pretty good as well, so I'm pretty excited about these. I have a couple of more, and I'm gonna send those out to Mr. Kendra. This is another spec. This spec I like even more. Listen guys, I can't tell you how many times I've heard lately, stay away from DC. I don't know if you've heard it, but I'm tired of hearing it, because when people stay away from something, that's when you really gotta think about possibly buying, especially if the market is super hot on a particular segment, which is Marvel, and so cold on another segment. Always remember this: DC Comics has 2 of the top 3 superheroes in the business. Number 1 for me will always be Spider-Man, but definitely number 2 is Batman and Superman, whichever one comes first. Now to you it might be different, but that's never gonna change. I don't see it changing ever. I think those 3 are cemented forever. And to just say no to DC spec, I can't do that, you know, and you shouldn't, because this might be the best opportunity to go after a lot of these keys. And believe me, I am doing it, because At some point, either DC is going to get their act together, or they're going to sell something to somebody. I mean, there's been rumors that Kirkman is in talks to buy the DC Comics aspect, right? But it doesn't look like they want to sell the rights to, like, say, the movie rights to the characters. So they just, from what's being talked about, it looks like they're looking to sell probably just the comics end of it. But they would do a deal where whatever comes out in comics is also theirs as well, you know, to play with in movies or series or animated shows. I don't know how true that is, by the way. It's just something that I've read in, I believe it was in CBR, comicbookresources.com. But this is the first Lobo, guys. If you look at Lobo, at his... Matter of fact, you know what? Let's look at it together. This, my dear guys, is the main man. Lobo's back, 1992. Giffen, Grant, Beasley, Bite Me. Yeah, the attitude, man. And this guy is cosmic. His powers are... You can't really, like, hurt this dude. You can't kill him, you know. And he's just a great character. There is no way in hell that you can convince me that this guy is a better character than Lobo. But look at the prices on the 9.8. Now, that's not a knock on Deadpool, guys. I like Deadpool. I actually love Deadpool, especially in the movies. I think he was better in the movies than he was in the comics. But in the comics, he was also great, though. He is also great. He was made great and not by Liefeld. But 2,700, 3,900 best offer though, and then 3,000, 3,000, 2,900. I mean, you get the point. $3,000 book in a 9.8 as of right now, right? Because everything's going nuts and they're going after keys, and this is a lot of speculation, right? New people in the market. All right. Why is Lobo 1/10 of that? And by the way, that book has been stale for the past 20 years. 20 years ago, you could have found that book for less than $200 in a 9.8. I know, because I have a few that I bought back then, and I'm still holding, and I'm still holding. I have quite a few 9.8s of Omega Man number 3, and I just keep amassing them, guys. I keep doing it. Why is Lobo $300 and Deadpool $3,000? Because Deadpool has gotten a lot more play in media, right? He's got a movie. The movie was successful. Where have you seen Lobo, really? You've seen him in a very, very cheesy... What was that? Against Superman? I mean, that was super, super cheesy. Where else have you seen him? I mean, really, in animated, maybe in animated Justice Leagues, but they haven't given him his own story, like on, like a movie. Think about Momoa, the missed opportunity of Momoa. Why cast Momoa as Aquaman and not Lobo? That's his calling right there, man. Lobo is his calling. And he would have been a great Lobo. He's got the attitude and he looks the part. Eventually, somebody's going to get this right. I just hope that I'm still alive when that happens, because I believe in this character that much. And not only is it 1/10 of what Deadpool is, but if you look at Deadpool, New Mutants 98, there are 3,939 9.8s, a total of 20,495 graded. We're going to call that 20,500. I mean, look at the 9.6s here. 5717. All right. We go to Omega Men. He's got 2,217 9.8s. Almost half, a little bit more than half of what Deadpool's 9.8 count is. Remember the 9.6s? 1,732 9.6s. Two New Mutants, 5,700. You're talking, yo, that's 4,000 more 9.6s in New Mutants 98. Oh, the total, right? I didn't get the total. Total here, 6,092. All right, so let's go at now. There's no print run on Omega Men number 3. Okay, I can't find one. But in our Bible, standard catalog of comic books, we will find one distributor at 55,200. Because there were 2 distributors then, I would have to at least double that. So a little bit over 100,000, I would say, print run on New Mutants 98. Probably in the 150,000 guesstimation, but let's say on the low end, 100,000, right? It's not that bad. It's really not that bad, but there's a lot. There's still a lot. Omega Men came out in 1983, though, and that was a new title. There's no way that they printed 100,000 of Omega Men number 3. Now, the Raws, there's still a bunch of Raws up for sale and stuff, and it's better stock book than the New Mutants 98. But I just see tremendous potential in Lobo, you know, just as a character alone. Both of them are great characters, but Lobo is untapped. It's an untapped character, at least in entertainment. Okay, he's not a household name, not yet, not like Deadpool, you know. Let's go to the next one. Okay, guys, this is my word. These are my words on the way that I see my keepers, in specifically in this particular project that I'm having. Okay. You may agree, you may disagree, but this is the way that I see things, and this is the way that I kind of simplified it for people to understand it anyway. Hopefully you will. Value tier. Undervalued comics that have established characters with relatively modest fan base or cult following. The risk is flat on these comics because the value of these books are or have been flat for a long period of time. The good thing is that this value has held fast due to the solidity of the characters. The great thing about this tier is that negative news on these properties do not decline their values much or even at all over a significant time. On the contrary, positive news may or will cause these books to reach the growth tier in a hurry. Now, what I struggle with this next book is this an established character, and does it have a modest base, a fan base, or a cult following? Having lived through this era, I'm going to say yes, this character has a cult, or at least back then it had a cult following. This is not the book that made it the cult following, though. That would have been right around Web of Spider-Man number 118 in the 90s, Ben Reilly did become something, and he may yet become something again. So is this a spec or is this a solid play? I think Web 118 is more of a spec. I think this one becomes more of a solid play and a possible keeper. For me, it will be a keeper because not only is it an relatively an early issue of Spider-Man in 1975, magnificent cover, and it is the first appearance of Ben Reilly. In this book, however, too, is you will find a goodbye to the Gwen Stacy clone, and what will mark the beginning of what I believe was the relationship between Peter Parker and Mary Jane as lovers. I mean, they have been before, but in this one here, yeah, it's kind of like solidified that they're going to be a thing. Friends with benefits. All right. So I got these books from the old man. I probably paid $0.25 each for these books back in the day. I beat them to hell, man. Look at that. These are well read. I loved it. This is also art by Ross Andru, and Ross Andru, phenomenal artist, highly underappreciated, and they chose him for Batman. Not Batman. Spider-Man versus Superman, the Treasury Edition, first ever Marvel DC crossover, and Ross Andru was the artist for it. In this issue, we do see that that guy right there, the Jackal, Dr. Warren, drug Spider-Man, and he's able to create a clone of Peter Parker, and he makes him think that he's the clone. He makes the clone think that he's the real Peter Parker. At the end of the issue, there's a definitive end, or at least as definitive as comic books get, to the clone. What's not definitive is if this is the real Peter Parker. Okay? See, this is where he drugs him. Boom, right there. And he wakes up, and here he is, facing the clone, Ben Reilly. Which one's the clone? Yeah, it was a really good story. I gotta give him to him. This was really good. All right. This is the clone of Gwen Stacy. And then at the end of this storyline, by the way, yes, this also is a definitive end to Dr. Warren and the Jackal. As definitive as comics get. But at the very end, this is kind of like what I like. Gwen Stacy, the clone, says goodbye to Peter. So feelings are sprouting back up. And he says goodbye to her once again. He's feeling super down. And then all of a sudden, who shows up at the doorstep? Oh yeah. Yep, I think I would let her in too. And this is kind of like the start, in my opinion, of that fire that they had. Like this was to me the start of that relationship, of what it turned out to be. In this book, the next book, 150, he's thinking like, am I the clone? Or am I the real Peter Parker? How do I know that it wasn't Peter Parker that died in that? So he comes up to a conclusion that the clone wouldn't have memories going back like years before he was created, and he has those memories of Mary Jane and Aunt May, and the clone wouldn't have those memories, so he concludes that he is the real Spider-Man, and he never stopped struggling. Tremendous story, you know. So as a kid, I always loved this cover anyway, so I've always wanted it in a high grade, but I never pulled the trigger on it, and because I didn't want to overpay for it also, right? And I wouldn't have overpaid if I would have went after it before, but now things are getting a little bit out of hand. This one hasn't, though, not really. I bought this one because the cover was cracked, but more importantly, not the cover, the case is cracked. More importantly, the label. See that label? This is during the time at the infancy of CGC when no one was pressing their books. This is going back 20 years, guys. People were not pressing the books. At least I wasn't. I did have friends that would press, but with to try and get creases out. But what they would do is they would press with like encyclopedias and put the books inside encyclopedias or something, or put encyclopedias on top of it to try and get it to flatten. I did hear about books getting damaged back then with experiments that they were trying, and this is when they were starting to try out the dry cleaning and stuff like that a little bit after that. But I've never tried it, so I know that when I see a book like that, it hasn't been pressed. It just hasn't. And I bought it because of the crack. I figured that I would get a better price, and I did. It's an 8.5, and I think this has tremendous room to grow. And I get to keep my reading copy. But this should come back possibly in the high 9s. There it is right there. You see that right there? Not color breaking. And that could be clean and pressed. Yeah, it needs a lot of cleaning. Not significant amounts, but that right there. But I think I can get a 9.4 on this. Maybe 9.6. All depends on how well he cleans that baby off right there. Right, from afar you can't really tell. When you go close though, you can see a little bit there. Alright, so this is going into the Keeper project, and I'll show you guys what I paid for it in a little bit. Let's go to the next book. Yay. This is what I'm talking about, DC. When people stay away from DC, you know, these are keys. This is an established character. These are going into the value tier. First appearance of that guy right there. Not Dick Grayson, but Nightwing. And this is also an origin story of Deathstroke, and this is also the first appearance of Jericho. In a 9.8, I paid $250 for this book, $265 with shipping. I couldn't say no to that. At that price, this is worth holding because this character is established. And again, eventually DC will get their act together. They have to, you know. And Teen Titans, they're coming to HBO, so they'll be overseeing that production. And HBO does not like putting out garbage, so I expect that production to be significantly better than the WB was. This is another one that's going into the Keeper project. I just sold the 9.6 of this, and I felt seller's regret. I often do that, you know that? Often do that. I sell a book and I'm like, damn, why did I sell that? I sold the first Rogue last year, 9.8. 675. I think they're in Comic Link. There's one that's going right now for over 1,500, I believe. Yeah. Not winning on that. But you have to keep a well-oiled machine, and you got to make decisions that you're just not gonna like. And once you make that decision, it is hard not to look back. But I went out and I bought this one right after I sold that one, and this one will be going into the Keeper project, and these are all going into the value tier. Let's look at the value tier. Okay, Tales of the Teen Titans, $44, $265 for the 9.8. Amazing Spider-Man, $149, CGC 8.5 crack case, $196.19. It's pretty heavy, especially for a crack case and an 8.5. Batman, $635. Jason Todd, Red Hood, $154. I paid that much because it was from Exile State, and I trust his grading, and he did not disappoint once again. That is a near mint to mint looking book for me. All right, next book is going to be in the growth tier. It's actually two books. All right, these comics are established keys or first appearances that are flourishing and whose characters are still growing their fan base. These books still carry high risk in the short term due to the high amount of speculator activity which has been created by the rapid growth rates. Any media coverage, whether series, movie, or comic related, will drive their value sharply in the direction of the news. The good news is that because the characters are established, these books have the expectancy to regain or even reach new highs over time. So, these are the next two books. Now, I have this baby in a 9.8 already, but we all know what this is. This character, even though there's a ton of these out in the market, to me, this is the number 2 most popular X-Man, next to Wolverine. If you think about it, out of all the X-Men, who can carry their own movie by themselves? Think about that. Can Cyclops? I don't think so. Too bland. Can Jean Grey? She can't. Jean Grey is useless. Try to put Jean Grey is useless on YouTube, see what you find, and you'll find out that she is useless. Colossus has no personality. Wolverine is the number 1 guy in the X-Men. Without Wolverine, they need a backbone. The backbone is Gambit, right? Even Storm, I think Storm can probably carry her own book. Maybe. But Gambit, there's no doubt, in my opinion anyway, at least that he can carry a movie. You know, he's got the character, the personality, the powers. and probably even a type of sex appeal. Yeah, I said it. Bought 2 of these. I'm starting to... I think I'm gonna hoard these, because even though this book is starting to take off right now, didn't see that, but this needs a pressing. These will be getting pressed anyway. Even though I do have this in a 9.8 and it's starting to take off, I don't think it's taken off to a point where it's out of reach. And I think this is a book that can very, very easily get out of reach fast. Okay, this is going into the growth tier. X-Men 266, 2 of them at $150 each. Now, how did that come out? This is into the growth tier, of course. I bought that from AMKM. I'm frequenting a lot of the books that you saw today are from YouTube auctions. I'm frequenting them only because I want to support the community, and I get something out of it too. I get some good books. So he did take 3 weeks to ship them out. I hope that's not something that's going to be a constant for him. I haven't bought from him since, and that might have been one of the reasons why, but again, I was happy with the condition of these books. And why didn't I put these into the keeper? Because I just happen to like this cover a hell of a lot more, and this is the money book, in my opinion. Will always be the money book. This is the first appearance, undoubtedly, because he appears here like 7 or 8 times in 7 frames. But he's not really heavily involved in that. He's heavily involved in this, and this has a magnificent cover of him, his first cover, and names him, and inside he's the focal point of the story, pretty much. All right. I think that's all I have for tonight. I'm actually really tired now, but this was a long video. I hope you liked the video today. Again, these are my words. This is the way I'm doing this right here. Are these books worthy to go into keeper piles for your collection? I'm not sure. But these are worthy for my collection. I love these books. Will I keep all of these books? Maybe not all of them, but I'm definitely going to keep some of them, without a doubt. Have a good night, guys.